Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Porch broadcast. We're going to be doing a inspirational video today, and we've been doing them inside the studio because of the hot weather. A little bit cooler out here today, not super cool, but cooler anyway. So I decided to try to do one out here on the porch today. Anyway, what I'd like to go into as a subject matter is fear. Fear is such a devastating thing on the human psyche that I feel like it would be helpful to people if they understood it a little bit better, and more so than that, how to combat fear. So let's talk about what fear does to you as a person. Fear can affect you physically. It can cause you to actually get physically sick. It can affect you mentally. It can cause mental illness. And the thing about fear is, so many times, is it is avoidable. Now, let's back up and take a look at the old Stoic philosophy on fear. Now, I won't quote these philosophies 100%. It's better that you know what they mean more so than knowing how to quote them. And some of them I quote, but this one I don't know whether I can or not. But anyway, the Stoic philosophy is this: if a man worries or gets in fear, he suffers twice as much. And really meaning, because the whole time that you're waiting on that thing, whatever it may be that you fear, you're worrying about it, you're in fear about it, you're under anxiety about it, and and when it says you suffer twice as much, I think it's far more than that, because all the time you're in fear about it until it comes, you're suffering. So you may be suffering 100 times more than you need to over fear. But once you understand fear, and once you understand how to combat it, the suffering almost goes away. And in some cases, it goes away. As you practice what I'm about to tell you here, it'll actually go away. You can actually beat it. Now, when I tell you can beat things in life, you can beat them. But I understand this: they will come back if you will allow them to come back. It's up to you whether you allow them to come back or not. So, thinking about fear, most people, they'll get to thinking about something that's coming, a job interview maybe, or some kind of a test, and they'll worry and worry and worry over that thing. And then when it comes time, a lot of times the job interview will go very well. You ever done something like that you worried about, and then when it actually came to pass, it wasn't anything to it? I have, and I know most everybody has. Like, say, a job interview. Well, it went pretty good. Or maybe a test. Well, it went better than you thought it would. Or maybe some situation you thought was going to take you a long time to do it, and it went really well. Now, sometimes these things don't go well, but I find more often than not they go a lot better than what we're thinking they're going to go. And so all the worrying that you did had no value to it at all. Matter of fact, it had an opposite effect on you. It put a negative in your life, because it hurts your health, it hurts you mentally. And when you're having to do whatever the task is, whether it's a job interview or a test or whatever, the mental stress that you suffered beforehand a lot of times will affect what you're trying to accomplish. So if you think about it, it's really important to overcome fear. Now, let's talk about how you overcome fear. We talked about the problem. Let's talk about the solution to it. One of the things about life is this, and this is an important thing to understand. Sometimes things are going to be what they're going to be. If you approach it and you say, well, I need to prepare for the job interview, you've thought of all the questions that might come, and you've answered them in your mind, and you've kind of prepared for it. Now, that's a good thing. That's not called fear, and that's not called worrying and anxiety. That's called due diligence. So you do your due diligence, and you prepare for the job interview. If it's a test, you study and you prepare for the test. Now, once you've done that, your due diligence, now I'm not talking about spending 5 minutes on something that should take 2 or 3 days. Do the 2 or 3 days of due diligence. Get it done, and then forget about it. Go on about your business. And when it comes time, you will be as prepared as you can be. Folks, here's the thing. That is all you can do in life is prepare the best you can. Due diligence. If you can sit back and say, you know what, I've studied that for 3 days, I've studied every way I know how, I've done my due diligence. Well, here's the thing. Once you've done that, why would you worry about it? What good could it possibly do anyway? None. None at all. And I've done this throughout life a lot, and I've been very successful at it. So once you do your due diligence, you forget it, and when the worry starts to come back, just say this to yourself: I've done my due diligence. It's going to come out however it comes out, and I can accept how it comes out. Here's another key, guys. You got to be prepared to accept what it comes out to be, because there's nothing you can do about it after you've done your due diligence anyway. And the bigger part of the time, if you've done your due diligence, the bigger part of the time, it will come out better than what you think it will. And you may at the time think it didn't come out as good. I've walked away from a situation where I didn't think I did that good, and 2 or 3 days later find out I did very well on it. Do your due diligence. Don't let worry sit there and pound on you. Replace worry with due diligence. Do your studying, do your preparations, get ready, and when you get there, do the best you can. Now, I'm not talking about putting something on yourself that you can't do. Doing your best you can do is honest and fair. Putting yourself under pressure and say, well, I could have done better. Well, everybody can do better with 20/20 hindsight, but guess what? You don't get to go into that situation with 20/20 hindsight, especially if it's the first and maybe the only time you get to do it. Now, if you get to do the same thing over and over again, you'll get better as you go. But you can only do what you know how to do. I had an old friend told me one time, he was 3 times my age, and he told me this. He said, all you can do in life is the best you can do. Well, that's pretty simple, isn't it? But it's pretty profound if you think about it. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this inspirational video up. We enjoy doing these. We hope that they help you guys. Hope sometime I'll say something that'll actually benefit somebody, and it'll make life a little easier on them, clear up their path a little bit more. But having said that, we here at Porch love you guys. We thank you for viewing our videos, and we'd ask you to subscribe if you will. At the very least, hit that like button. It'll help us in the algorithm YouTube, and we could certainly use the help. All right, guys, we're going to close out. May God bless and have a good day.